Which stocks does Wall Street love? In this video, we'll tell you about 10 that analysts think could keep climbing. Can you guess what they are? We'll play along as we ask people out here if they can pick the Wall Street winners. So hit that subscribe button and let's get going with this week's Ticker Tape.
All right, John, we left the studio to sweat it out here in the streets, and it is hot today. We are here at one of the busiest spots in Toronto, Dundas Square, downtown Toronto.
You know what? I'm glad that it's hot because we're going to talk about stocks that analysts think could be hot.
Totally. So, how do we play? Are we going to explain this to them?
Yes, well, we know the market is around all-time highs. People keep seeing these headlines around uncertainty, so we wanted to keep it simple. And we focused on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is 30 stocks, pretty much blue chip companies to pick from. And that's basically our starting point.
And these are all stocks that Wall Street analysts really love. So can you explain that?
Yeah, we're going to single out 10 of these Dow stocks. Now, on Wall Street, there are a couple of things that the analysts do. Number one, they typically say whether they think you should buy or sell a stock. Number two, they often give you their expectations on where the stock will be in a year's time. They call it a target price. So we blended those two things to find out stocks that not only are liked by Wall Street analysts, but also are expected to see their stocks increase by 10% or more over the next year.
Okay, I love it. So we're going to see if you guys can guess these stocks. We're also going to see if people around here at Dundas Square can guess these stocks. However, I have a question.
Yeah.
What if people need some help?
Oh, okay. Good point. So, a lot of times on Ticker Take, we talk to market experts, and we have a couple on standby on our phone. So if any of our participants right here today have questions or can't make a decision, we've got a phone, a market friend option at the ready.
I love it. Should we get to the list?
Let's do it. But before we do that, a friendly reminder, these are analyst opinions and not our own, and
This is not financial advice.
Yeah! Would you guys like to play our game? Are you a stock investor?
No, not really.
Just dabbling? I'll take a loan out from you when you're worth 10 mil, okay? What we're doing today, I have a YouTube channel.
I follow you, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. You want to play while you're in traffic? What stock would you pick?
Nvidia.
It's number 3 on our list.
Crypto is going to be huge right now to buy it, especially Ethereum.
You find investment ideas everywhere you look.
Sorry, I wasn't sure.
Inside, I have the stocks that the professionals on Wall Street are recommending. If you could pick one, which stock would you pick? I can call a market expert who will give you advice if you want one too. I have one on standby. You want to call him? Okay. John Zechner, nice to see you again. I'm here with Jay Zechner Associates, investing guru John Zechner, and this is Alara.
Hello. Okay, which stock should I invest in?
A couple that would stick out to me at the top right now, because I would gravitate towards tech stocks for the longest term. I think Amazon and Salesforce are both looking good.
I would definitely go with Salesforce. I like them both, actually. We own them both. But I think Salesforce has a better valuation and probably more potential upside from the implementation of AI through their Agentforce software and continuing to grow their solid client base.
I think Salesforce. What do you think? Okay, thank you so much.
Which one uses AI?
Okay, I'll say Salesforce.
Yes, good job, Alara.
Okay, let's open up the book.
I believe in you, Alara.
And this is our list right here. Which name is number 1?
You
Salesforce.
did it!
Salesforce!
Yay.
We're asking you to pick one of the Dow 30 stocks. Of all these stocks, Siobhan, is there one in particular that you would buy?
Probably JP Morgan.
JP Morgan. Want to take a look at where it ranks? This is our list of top ranked stocks. JP Morgan, right now kind of near the lower end of the group.
Oh, wow.
However, it's still a stock that half of Wall Street likes. They're just not sure about the return.
Oh, wow.
But it's probably one of the best known bank stocks in the world, so
I'll
not a
start
bad
with
pick.
that one.
There you go.
I would pick Apple and Honeywell.
So you're saying your two finalists are Apple and Honeywell, is that correct?
Yeah.
But you're not quite sure. So we're going to call market expert John Zechner to see what he would pick. We're live on the streets of Toronto, and this is John Zechner.
Hi.
He's a professional investor. So we have our Dow 30 stocks. We're down to two options, John. We're down to the option of Apple or Honeywell, and we need your suggestion. If you could buy Apple shares or Honeywell shares, what would you recommend?
Dow 30 choices, Honeywell versus Apple. Definitely would go with Apple on that one. The iOS system, software, the potential growth, even though some risk of iPhone hardware sales into China. Honeywell is good stock, but we don't think there's much upside and nearly as much earnings growth.
Okay, John Zechner, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Well, it was close. And he still likes Honeywell. Actually, Apple ranks higher than Honeywell when you look at the number of buy ratings and the return potential. Not that Honeywell doesn't do well, it just ranks lower than Apple, which is actually in the number 13 spot amongst Dow names. All right, well, they both sound like good picks. Thanks so much for playing.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much.
Nvidia and IBM 100%.
Nvidia?
That one's a one. Amazon, of course.
There's a
and
lot.
Apple. There's a lot here
Okay,
that
I have-
are worth something, I know.
I can call a professional investor and he can give you some advice on which one to pick. You want to do that?
Sure.
All right, let's phone a friend.
How's it going?
This is John Zechner.
Hi, John. My name's Abid.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Okay, so Abid, why don't you tell him the top three names you're trying to pick between?
It would definitely be Nvidia. It would probably be IBM. And honestly, Chevron.
What would be your recommendation to him?
Nvidia versus IBM versus Chevron. Definitely would go with Nvidia. IBM has been a good turnaround story in technology. I think you're factored a lot of that into the valuation now. Not positive at all on the oil stocks, so I would stay away from Chevron for now. Nvidia, the growth may slow down, margins may come under pressure, but a lot of growth ahead for the GPU sales into the rollout of AI globally.
Nvidia. We're going with Nvidia, John. Thank you. All right. John Zechner of J. Zechner Associates, right there. Number 3 on our
Number three,
list.
nice.
Number 3.
Okay.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well played.
I'm thinking Amazon. A lot of income, different markets, you know, you can have your own selling, whatever. Visa, because people are always using Visa. Apple. I mean, Apple's doing great. You purchase a lot of things. There's Apple Pay.
Yep.
McDonald's, fast food chain. People are always buying things. So yeah.
All good picks. Should we call our market expert to see
Why not?
what she thinks? All right, let's give Brianne Gardner a call. So Brianne, we're trying to figure out our final stock pick. We've got it down to 4 Dow stocks.
My recommendation between Visa, McDonald's, Amazon, and Apple would be Visa. The stock ranks a 10 out of 10 fundamentally for us. We see double-digit growth revenue for the stock. Analysts on the street are either a buy or outperform with double-digit upside from here.
Alrighty.
All right, Brianne, thank you so much. Thanks for your expert opinion. You talked about the Amazon business and Apple and McDonald, so it's a tough choice. What are you going to go with in the end? What do you want to go with?
I am gonna go with Amazon.
Amazon, of all the stocks that were there, is the 4th most recommended stock on Wall Street. It actually is the number 1 rated stock amongst the analysts. So you just picked a stock that the pros, more often than not, also pick for portfolios. Boom.
I'm going to say my top 2 are either Microsoft or Apple.
The analyst choice is definitely Microsoft. I'd probably stick with that one. It's expensive, but I think they have the lead on the AI rollout. They have the biggest customer base, and they continue to dominate cloud and storage. So I think going forward on the value, even though that's expensive, I would take that one of the 2.
I got a confession. I've owned Microsoft since it was $39.
Wow.
But I only bought 200 shares of it.
Hey, it's worth celebrating.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's see. Microsoft makes our list. Microsoft's had a good ride.
Yeah.
So on average, analysts don't see as much upside, but they love the stock. Almost 90% of the analysts recommend Microsoft. So you bought
incredible.
it at that lower level, and there are a lot of people that are still recommending
Still
it
willing to
today.
buy it.
Okay, those were great. Now let's get to our official top 10 list of stocks that are in the Dow that Wall Street loves.
Counting down from 10th to 1st, stock number 10, Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft has long been one of the most loved stocks on Wall Street, and these days, almost 90% of the analysts who cover it have a buy rating. But in addition, on average, they think the stock could rise pretty close to 10% or more in the next year.
Stock number 9, Home Depot.
Well, Home Depot is liked by about 2/3 of the analysts who cover it on Wall Street, but it's the return potential that really stands out. Almost a 20% upside, according on average to the analysts who cover it right now.
Stock number 8, Visa.
Well, Visa's been under some pressure recently, worries about competition from stable coins, but it is still a well-liked stock. More than 80% of the analysts like it and think that the shares could rally upwards of 14% in the next year.
Stock number 7, United Health.
Well, United Health has been hit by a whole host of issues, but more than 70% of the analysts still like the stock, and they think that potentially it could rally as much as 20% in the next year.
Stock number 6, Coca-Cola.
Boy, Wall Street really likes Coke. In fact, about 90% of the analysts have a thumbs up on these shares, and they do think it could rise as much as 14% in the next year.
Stock number 5, Walmart.
Well, I'll tell you, it's getting hot out here, and this one is incredibly hot on Wall Street. 94% of the analysts love Walmart, and on top of that, after the run the shares have already seen, they still think it could rally upwards of 14% in the next year.
Stock number 4, Amazon.
I'll tell you, Amazon is like the stock market cousin of Walmart in the eyes of analysts. 94% of the analysts like Amazon stock, and they do think it could rally as much as 14%.
Stock number 3, Nvidia.
I mean, it remains one of the most talked about stocks in the world. Do analysts like it as much as they once did? No, but still more than 85% of the analysts have buy recommendations on Nvidia, and they would not be surprised to see the shares rally as much as 20% over the next year.
Stock number 2, Merck.
Merck makes it onto our list more so because of the potential upside. 2/3 of the analysts do like it, so that's a solid number, but it is a 30% potential return based on the average target price that gets it to the number 2 spot.
And stock number 1, Salesforce.
Yeah, the software giant that's transitioning to AI. Wall Street likes it. More than 80% of the analysts have a buy rating, but it's the potential 34% return when you average out all of the calls that makes it number 1 on the list. All right, that is our video on Dow stocks that Wall Street really likes.
Thanks for playing along. Did you guys guess them right? Is there any Dow stocks that you like? Let us know in the comments.
Absolutely. By the way, we recently had a milestone here on Ticker Take. We now have more than 15,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for subscribing. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and you won't miss our next investing video.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.